Std4th NSO, chapter-2 Animals. Students, I am telling you some important points for NSO. From this Olympiad workbook, there are a chapter 2 named Animals. Animals that live on land are called terrestrial animals. For example, ants, deer, camels, lions, tortoises, and lizards. Animals that live in water are called aquatic animals. For example, fish, starfish, crabs. We call it in Marathi khekda. Dolphins, turtles, whales is a fish, and otters are aquatic animals live in water. Some animals keep flying all the time during the daytime or at night. Such animals are called aerial animals. Means most of the times they fly in the air. So they are called aerial animals. For example, dragonflies, kites, swallows, and bats are aerial animals. Some animals spend most of their time on trees, are called arboreal animals. For example, monkeys, squirrels, and koalas are arboreal animals because they spend their most of their time on trees. Their habitat also is on tree. Habitat is a natural home of living thing. Animals have certain body features and habits that help them to live comfortably in their habitats. Such features and habits are called adaptations. Means animals adapt the environment, adapt the place to live there. Their body features also adapt all environment, place where they live. Polar bear live in North Polar region, the Arctic regions, very cold region, Arctic region. But polar bear adapted to live there because of their body features and its habits. Help polar bear to live comfortably in polar region. The body of polar bear is covered with thick layer. Body features also fit them to live in the cold region. Means the body of the polar bear is covered with thick layers of hollow air and thick layer of fat below its skin. In the region polar bear, in the Arctic region, in polar region, there are food is scarce, means rare food, not a lot of food to eat there in Arctic region. Seals are the polar bear's main source of food. polar bear conserves energy by sleeping for 7 to 8 hours every day. In winter season, polar bear sleeps nearly 18 to 20 hours every day. Polar bear is a good swimmer. Means polar bear adapted to live in cold region, in Arctic region, because of the body features and habits that help them to live comfortably in cold region. Now, some animals adapted to live in mountains. Elks, snow leopard, llamas, and mountain goats live in mountains. They have thick layer of hair which protect them from cold. More red blood cells than other animals to obtain enough oxygen, even from less air in mountains. Eggs and the mountain goat, eggs, live, adapt the environment in mountains because in that type of animals there in their bodies there are more red cells and they obtain more oxygen because in mountains there are less air means less oxygen, but because of their body features, because of in that eggs and mountain goats the animals there are more red cells, and because of more red cells they obtain more oxygen in that less air. In that place in mountains there is a less air. Fish are aquatic animals. There are some animals adapted to live in water. Aquatic animals. Fish are aquatic animals. Aquatic animals means live in water. Fins helps to swim. Fish obtain oxygen dissolved in the water with the help of their gills. These are fish adapted to live in water. Eggs and mountain goat, llamas, and snow leopards adapted to live in mountains because of their body features and habit to live. They adapt the place and to live comfortably there. Body features that help a camel live in desert. Long eyelashes. The camel adapted to live in desert because of the body features of camel. Camels live comfortably in desert because camels have a habit to live there. Body features also help to live there. Means desert is a suitable place, adapted place for camel. Because of long eyelashes protect us from long sandy winds in desert. Nostril protects during the sandstorms. Large padded feet help in walking on soft sand. Excess amount of water stored in the hump as fat. Skin protects from heat. Long legs keep the body away from warm sand. Means all that beautiful body features of camels help to live in desert. Long eyelashes, nostrils, large padded feet, and humps because there are camels store food in the hump Skin also protect from heat. Kangaroo rat also adapted to live in a hot, dry and sandy desert. Kangaroo rat. Animals such as deer, wild dog, cheetahs, lions are adapted to living in open spaces and open grassland. The color of the body coat merges with the color of the dry grass, such as deer escape from their enemies. Animals adapted to live in grassland, cheetahs, deer, dogs, lions, wild animals. Because the dry grass and the color of their animals merges with each other. Because the deer escape from the enemies, because deer's colors and dry grass color is the same. Polar bears are adapted to living in Arctic region, cold region. Lions adapted to living in grasslands. Elks adapted to living in mountains. Camels adapted to living for many days without water or food in desert. All things reproduces young ones like themselves. This process is called reproductions. Animals such as earthworms, snails, insects, fish, frogs, lizards, tortoise, birds, snakes lay eggs. The young of above animals grow inside the eggs. After few days, when the young animals has developed, it breaks open the egg cells and comes out. This is known as hatching. All birds lay eggs, but sits on its eggs to keep the eggs warm. This is known as incubation. Ostrich lay egg, the largest eggs of the ostrich. It weighs 15 gram, means 1.5 kilogram. Bee hummingbird lays the smallest bird egg, which weighs around half a gram only. Bee hummingbird lays the very smallest bird egg, and ostrich lays the very largest egg. Mammals are animals that have an hair on their bodies. Mammals give birth to young ones on which develop inside mother's body. After the birth, for some time, the baby feeds on mother's milk. For example, monkeys, mice, humans, cats, elephants, dolphins, whales. Human beings are mammals. Frogs lay eggs in water. Caterpillars develop into tadpoles. Tadpoles breathe through their gills. Tadpoles is the young one of frog. The body of mammals covered with hair. Mammals give birth to their young ones. Animals are of two types, invertebrates and vertebrates. Invertebrates means elements do not have backbone. We call it in Marathi पाठीचा कणा. Means invertebrates means पाठीचा कणा नसलेले प्राणी. For example, insects, worms and snails have not backbone. Vertebrates animals have backbone. ज्या प्राण्यांना पाठीचा कणा असतो ते vertebrates. Fish live in water. Fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, mammals are vertebrates because they have backbone. Fish live in water. Fish has vertebrates. Amphibians means animals live in water on land. Animals both live in water and live on land are called amphibians. For example, frog, toad, newt, tortoise are amphibians because they live on land and also live in water. Reptiles, we call in Marathi, the meaning of reptile is sarpatnare prani, means lizard, snake. They can reptiles on the ground are covered with a dry scaly skin. They lay eggs, lizard and snake. For example, lizard and snakes are reptiles. Birds have feathered and pair of wings. They lay eggs, for example, pigeon and sparrow. But some birds are flightless, means they do not fly. Which are these birds? Emu and penguin. Emu and penguin do not fly because they are flightless birds. Mammals have hair on their body and they give birth to young ones. For example, human beings, cat, horse are all mammals because they give birth to young ones. Types of animals on the basis the food they eat. Herbivore, omnivore, carnivore, and scavengers. Food and predators means prey for hunting. Predators means they eat food for hunting some animals and they prey. They prey for hunting. Predators. Herbivores, what types of herbivore? Herbivores eat only plants. Deer and cow are herbivore animals because they only eat plants. Carnivores means eat only flesh of other animals, meat of other animals. For example, lion, tiger are carnivores. And omnivores means eat both plants and animals. For example, bear and crow are omnivores. And scavengers means survive by eating flesh, means meat of dead animals. Scavengers. They eat the flesh of meat of dead animals and their food of flesh of dead animals are called scavengers. For example, hyena and vulture. Hyena and vulture eating flesh of dead animals. So they called scavengers. Animals have a life cycle that includes birth, growth, reproduction, and death. Egg-laying animals may have 3 or 4 stages of life cycle. For example, cockroach has 3 stages of life cycle. First stage is egg, second stage is nymph, and third stage is adult. And whereas a butterfly has a 4 stages of life cycle. For example, egg, larva, pupa, and adult. Some animals are warm-blooded and some animals are cold-blooded. Means some animals are warm-blooded, maintain normal body temperature. For example, birds and mammals live in warm-blooded because they live in normal body temperature. And some are cold-blooded. For example, insects, fish, amphibians, and reptiles are cold-blooded. Polar bear adapted very cold places because each has layer of fat under skin. Cow is herbivore. Crow, squirrel, fox, bear, and sparrow are omnivores. Lion and eagle are carnivores. Bat is a mammal. Whale is a fish, is also mammal. Salmon is a fish. Penguin is a bird. Salamander is an amphibian, means both live on land and in water. Salamander is amphibians. Salamander live on land also and live in water also. So salamander is called amphibian. Himani is a place. The wood lies between damp soil and dry soil. This means she was checking that which direction would be wood lies go, whether toward the damp soil and towards the dry soil. Thus she was testing whether the wood lies need damp environment or not. And eagle is a predatory bird. Prey feed on flesh of other animals with hunting. That hunts for its prey. Hunts for feeding. Hunts for eating. Therefore, eagle's feet should help to have a tight hold of its prey while hunting. The sharp and curved claws of eagle are called talons. Sharp and curved claws of eagles are called talons that are meant to catch and hold the prey. If you like my video, please like, share, and subscribe it.